Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending the press briefing. My name is Jonathan Dyson and I am the Chief Fire Officer of North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service. Now, before I commence with our operational briefing this morning, there are a number of people which I would like to express the services and my own personal gratitude to. I'd like to express sincere thanks to all of our North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service firefighters who have worked inordinately hard over the last few weeks to extinguish this fire. Our partner agencies, which include the farmers, the gamekeepers, the contractors, Ministry of Defence and also the local Resilience Forum, who all have played a vital and critical role in what I feel has been an extensive community event in trying to extinguish this fire. I'd also like to thank for the support of our Mayor and Deputy Mayor who have supported the service throughout this, and myself, and also in supporting us in our application for financial funding from the Bellwind scheme in support of the authority. And also to the Galtrees Resort and Lodge Park in Pickering, where they are hosting the strategic holding area for all of the oncoming resources from across the country. And finally, to the local communities which have shown unwavering support throughout. Thank you all very much. So, the update from this morning. We currently have 12 operational appliances at scene. There are also specialist appliances there, which include our high volume pumps, and we still have the helicopter working for aerial support. We can confirm that within the last 48 hours, there has been no further advancement of the fire. What this means is that we have now contained the fire. It hasn't spread any further, and the thermal plume, as I'm sure you'll see from many of the websites, has now significantly reduced. The only areas where we're experiencing any flame front is actually well within the original cordons and is a burn back as wind gusts or anything else actually pick up a little bit of the flame and carry it. This is well under control in all those areas. In the areas where we need to, we are still utilising the helicopter because of the very difficult terrain that the firefighters are crossing to allow us to have our crews on the outer edges of the incident to maintain that border. Our contractors are still digging extensive fire breaks. They have dug kilometres wide in many areas and will continue to do so. Our firefighting tactics and strategy are still within all the boundaries that we wanted them to be, but of course we are still being realistic and we know that the weather can change, including over the weekend, and therefore we're still making provision to make sure that we cannot have any further encroachments in any areas. The cause of the fire investigation is still ongoing and will be reported in due course. Now, this has been a significant incident for any fire and rescue service, but North Yorkshire is a small fire and rescue service which is predominantly rural, and we have an extensive staff from our on-call firefighters. And I also want to thank their families who support this and the primary employers who have released them to continue providing firefighting provision throughout this incident. We've had difficulties across such a vast area, which is still around 25 kilometres wide, which is massive, of course, for us within there and for all the crews that are trying to approach the scene. We've had the unexploded ordnance, which we've previously reported upon, but I'm glad to say there's been no further explosions within the last week and the areas that we've been working in. The defensive strategy that we adopted there has allowed then the aerial support to go over, and the aircraft has been dropping water in those areas, again mitigating the impact for our firefighters. I think it's exceptional that we have lost no property, there's been no loss of life, and there's been no injuries to any of our staff within this time. And I think that's credibility to our crews and everybody that's been working in this to keep our staff safe and again mitigate the impact on the public. So you remember last Monday this incident escalated. The point that we make here is that we have received mutual aid support since day one of this incident. We utilise existing arrangements where we've brought in appliances from all of our neighbouring counties, which has been brilliant support from Humberside, from South Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, Cleveland, Durham and Darlington, and that's been ongoing from day one. But there becomes a point where our crews have been deployed, their crews which have been supporting us have been deployed as well, and that starts to drain the resources, notwithstanding, of course, the personal impact on all of the firefighters. It was at that point that I decided to then go from a wider regional context to request national assets to be deployed. The strategy around that is so that we get a respite within our own crews and our regional crews have the ability to have some downtime and to recoup on there, and also so that the national crews can be committed to the incident, allowing North Yorkshire crews to give functionality for business as usual within the county itself. So North Yorkshire crews are still responding to both the fire and also the major incident. As I previously explained, we've now contained the fire within those borders. What's also important to recognise is that we still need to have plans that should anything happen, that we're still able to respond in the appropriate way. That's why, as chair of the Strategic Coordinating Group, I have still asked for evacuation procedures to be drawn up, but these are now in a remote aspect and not expected to be deployed in any way. Of course, we will continue to monitor that. Should we have to evacuate anybody, please be rest assured that you would be informed well in advance, you would be supported throughout the evacuation and also any period where you are out of your home. But once again, the area is safe, we have put an appropriate cordon within place and we have no plans to instigate any of those procedures. I do want to raise that I do understand the impact that this incident has had on the public and on the businesses and those visiting who live or work within North Yorkshire. That isn't lost on myself or any of the fire and rescue service at all. And we appreciate the support that we've been shown in there. What I can say is that North Yorkshire is still open for business. People can approach, people can visit the county, they can go to any of the areas. All we ask is that you please avoid the areas that we've highlighted for safety, avoid the roads that we've put the closures on, once again for safety, and should you need to, please seek information from the key sources, which is the North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service website and also our partner agencies, including the Combined Authority and North Yorkshire Council. The final point is that we have had an absolutely tremendous support from the public in donations. The Fire and Rescue Service is not able to accept cash donations or donations into the authority itself. If people wish to make donations, then please send these across into the Firefighters Charity. And again, we have now got an absolute abundance of cakes and supplies and drinks from everybody, which has been wonderful and the crews really appreciate it, but we're now at a saturation point. So once again, thank you for that, but we can no longer accept any further donations. What I will end on is that I can give you the assurance that we will bring this incident to a successful conclusion. There's been no further fire spread within those 48 hours, and I'm confident that the continued work and the deployment strategy that we've put in place will see an end to this very soon. Thank you all very much.